welcome back to 10 timeless lessons that I learned from my dad, the one and only Pastor Luciano Del Monte. He's a life and results coach now. He's coming up to retiring, but really he's...
Refiring. I'm not retiring, I'm refiring.
Isn't that cool? I've never heard that before. So we're doing a little show and tell in this episode. In today's episode, we want to share with you guys the third timeless lesson, which is running.
Looking great, Vince. Keep it up.
Running. What are we going to do with running?
Well, running. I mean, we got a little show and tell here. We'll save these props for a second. But I think what I want to kick off with is, growing up, I was Italian, obviously. We love soccer. I still love soccer, but wasn't the best soccer player. It was probably painful for him to come and watch his son play mediocre, when all the dads are on the sidelines there cheering their kids on.
That's overstatement. You were pretty good.
I was way better in soccer. I couldn't play hockey. I tried. I think I made it a couple whatever. Didn't make it far, but running was something I latched onto. I don't know why. It was something that we grew up seeing our dad do. He'd leave the house at weird times and come back at weird times, and he'd be standing outside doing his stretches and ask for a glass of water, and he'd tell us to lick his arm so we could taste the salt. Like, Dad, that's disgusting. What are you? And he wanted us to see that he was out working out. So my brothers and I saw my father run at a young age, and I still remember when we got into running. I remember you took us on a run in Florida, and it was sweltering
we had to go at 6 o'clock
hot,
in the morning. It was
and I was dying. I was crying. I couldn't keep up, and I realized my dad's tough. He's strong, and before you know it, we're enrolled into Guelph Track and Field, and I get into running. It became my essentially identity all through high school. Same thing when I went off to university. I got to run for the University of Western Ontario. I even dabbled in triathlon and represented my country when I was 16 years of age. I went to the World Triathlon Championships, and there was 12 of us. I qualified, and I was the sixth Canadian. I got this amazing coat. I think I wore this every single day in my OAC year because I wanted everybody to know that I was a part of Team Canada. And when I got the little Power Bar logo on there, I was so proud. I actually wasn't sponsored by Power Bar, but I saw some other people who were, and they gave me this, and I put it on, and people thought I was sponsored by Power Bar. And then I got my University of Western cross country coat, and I was even the captain in my fourth year. This is what gave me identity. I think that's what running did for me, and I think the biggest thing that running did for me, I'd love to hear my dad's thoughts on, why we got into running. But
yeah, I think partly, this is going to be a short one because the main lesson here is running. Vince is also a pretty good swimmer and a great cyclist. The bigger picture was I wanted to build character. And you can't build character with kids with content all the time, information. You have to experience. And I wasn't a musician. I wasn't an artist. So all I knew was sport. And running had changed my life. It actually gave me access to an athletic scholarship to the States because of running. And so I knew running would open the door for other things for the boys, not knowing what it would be. Right. But I do know running is associated, as is swimming and cycling, to endurance. And there's a little thing I want you to remember. Endurance means you have a capacity to crash through quitting points. And having been a few steps ahead of my boys in life, quite a few steps, I knew that there were going to come times in their lives where they would want to quit. Quit on school, quit on a relationship, on work, just quit. And the one thing I did, quitting's not bad if it's a good thing you're quitting from and transitioning to something else. But to develop a lifestyle of quitting is a no-go for me. And I didn't want that to be part of their life by design. So I've seen through the years, there's one just story that stands out to me, which will explain Vince to many of you, is he was in his last year of university. I had invited my fellow pastors and friends from the church and other places to come and watch Vince run the steeplechase, which is you have to jump over these really thick barriers for 2,000 meters. And on the last barrier, Vince was running to qualify for the regional championships. And he was in a really good position to be in the top three. Top four qualified, and he hit the barrier, and he went down. And he went 100 meters to go, and he went down hard. And I just freaked out. And then someone said, he's getting up. And he got up, and he didn't crawl because he could still run, but he limped his way to the finish. I don't think you did qualify.
No, Harry beat me.
He just missed out qualifying, but my fellow colleague pastor said Vince just showed the champion that he is. And little did I know that would be a metaphor of Vince's life. That Vince, over the years, I've seen him many times. I thought, okay, this is when his business is going to collapse. This is when things are going to fall apart in the home. And he just keeps getting up, reinventing himself, crashing through the quitting point. So that's all I want you to hear about the running. We're not inviting you necessarily to become a runner, although it wouldn't be bad for you.
I actually am. I think you should all become runners because it's one of the most mentally tough sports in the world. And I think this world is full of weak men. Right? They get to hit their first roadblock and they cry. Oh, it's too hard. Oh my gosh, I'm sore. Should I take an extra day off? We learn how to train in the winter. We train in the boiling heat. We train like in unsafe conditions. We raced up and down hills. Like you were yelled at by the coach when you got to catch one guy to qualify for the next race. Like this was the way I developed mental toughness. I honestly feel like that was the best thing that you gave us. Like running. When you're out there in the middle of nowhere and every single step your brain's telling you to quit, or not even maybe quit, but slow down. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you're like, it's worth it. Go, and you dig in and you find another gear and you catch the guy and your team qualifies for national championships. And it's because you dug in and you made it hurt. And the coach is yelling at you stuff like, everybody else is hurting too. And you realize you're just competing against everybody mentally. Everybody's had the same training. Yeah. Sure, certainly there's guys who are more talented than others. But at the end of the day, I realized like, wow, I really got to see the days that I just, SHIT the bed and days that I manned up and I found a new gear and I dug down and you were rewarded for that. Yeah. I think that's what I love so much about running. It's so black and white, right? It's like, how fast you run today. It was like, there's no concepts. This guy had a good run today. No, it's like, no, I didn't qualify. I came 5th. Oh, so you didn't qualify. It was, you either did it or you didn't do it. Dad, running was like the thing that laid the foundation. I only started to see though the value of the running once you start hanging out with other guys in your mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, and these guys are just falling over left and right. I'm like, why are you so weak? And they don't have this, they never put themselves through what we call in running the hurt box. Yeah. We went into the hurt box, and how many times would we go train on those super cold days? Like we never talked about, hey, should we go run today? It was, no, we just have to layer up. Yeah. Like it was, our whole life was built around discipline and structure and goals and being around other guys who were racing hard. I want to say there's so many things out there where people are reading books on mental toughness and stuff, and there's a lot of challenge-based workouts out there. It's all good stuff. But one of the best gifts you can give your son, your daughter when they're young is immerse them in a world of pain. Yeah. Put them in a world.
And it doesn't have to be sport. It could be music. People who've learned to play music, they have to stick at it. It's easy to quit, like maybe it doesn't affect their physical body.
We're talking from our experience, so please share your experience with us in the comments below. People say, this sports, they're all about winning. Absolutely, that's the point.
Sometimes they're absolutely the race is against yourself.
You nailed it on the head. It's about winning. It's about beating the competitor. It's about finding another level inside yourself and seeing like, wow, I can do this. And that carries over to every area of your life. Were there any times where we were like, I don't want to go run today, that you got worried? How do you push a kid into doing sports?
The balance was your mother. Mom was the grace and I was the truth. And so we had to try to find a middle spot. I had to trust her when she says you're pushing them too hard. And then she had to trust me when I said, no, they haven't gone hard enough.
I would say as a son coming out the other side, push your kids more than you don't push them. It's better for them to be more uncomfortable than less uncomfortable. Or it's better for them to be more overwhelmed than less overwhelmed. That's my take on things. I'd love to know your take on this one. What sport made you tough growing up? Hey, listen, let us know what you think in the comments below. Love to know how did this one land for you. And be sure to turn your notifications on, as well as subscribe to the channel. Share this series with a friend who get value out of 10 timeless lessons that Vince Del Monte learned from Papa Luch. See you in the next one.